LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting today. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic is our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot, copy, ask, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will print and we will learn. Place to gain as tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic feeds our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic feeds our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the run and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
GMet, welcome everybody to the LP Army Day 2 boot camp. Glad to see everybody here. Yeah, Hector, I hope we all do. So welcome. Let's get right into this. So just the disclaimer as usual. NFA DYOR, you're responsible for your own money, not me. And just a few notes. The point of this course is to become familiar with Meteora and how to be successful at providing liquidity. It's not really about the roles and there's no promise of like an airdrop or something like that. It's for this. And while this course is free, you do need funds to complete the tasks. We ask you to follow along if you can with the activities, but it's not required. And always be prepared to lose before you win. This definitely takes practice, and if you lose, consider that your tuition in learning. Even the very best at this, still not everything is a W, but we'll get you there to learn how to do that consistently in the end. Just again, this is me. I have a day job as a manager of IT. I volunteer in many things. I stay busy all the time. Yeah, that's, if you don't know me by now, I don't know where you've been living. But joining me also today is Chief, longtime boot camp instructor. Chief, you want to say howdy?
GMet, thank you for having me. I am Chief. I am a full-time liquidity provider now for almost a year now, and been around the Meteora community for quite a while, and I really like teaching people how to make money with this thing, and been involved in a few of the sub-communities and helping grow the LP army, and you'll find me in the DGen DLMM Discord pretty much every day, where we are working together to nail some really good prints. So hope you enjoy today, and if it vibes with you, come join us in the Discord and start providing some liquidity, making some money.
Right on. Well, thank you, Chief, for joining us today. So to get the most out of this course, use the chat to ask your questions. We want to be able to answer all those if we can. Try and keep yourself to the point, concise. Again, learn by doing. You must complete both days of this course to graduate. So if you have to do day 1 and day 2, pass both. If you pass day 1 from a previous boot camp, you don't have to repeat day 1 again, but that's the boot camp trainee in the Meteora Discord. So do both days. And just FYI, sometimes people get confused on this. The roles that you get for graduating the course, they're granted on the Meteora Discord. After that happens, then you can copy the LP Army private to the LP Army Discord. We'll talk about that, and there's posts about it later, but just know that that happens. And of course, we're always welcome to your feedback on this. So thank you. These are the bootcamp resources from yesterday. If you didn't get to check that out yesterday or do it, there's the QR code for it. Just some extra documentation, links, X accounts to follow, that kind of thing. Yeah, GMet. Yeah, the alpha for sure. Okay, so moving on. All right. So to survive and thrive in LP, you need to not just do this completely random. You need to have a method to think about, what you're going to do. Consistency is key. Practice, test, and learn from that. So if you lose, learn from it. Look at it and say, what did I do wrong, or was this just bad luck? Could I maybe have been a little bit more conservative here? And what works for you may not be the thing for somebody else, so the way that I LP and the way Chief LPs may be completely different. They're not necessarily wrong. You have to figure out your own risk appetite, what you're willing to risk, your strategies in doing that, what you have time for, all of these things. And don't compare yourself to other people. Only compare yourself to yourself. So over time, am I becoming a better me at this? And finally, collaborate. One of the best things about Meteora is its community. We're here to help each other learn and grow, get ideas from each other. So use the community definitely to learn. And again, just survive and thrive in this. There's some on-chain tools and off-chain. opportunity finding tools, things for technical analysis, and to risk and performance. So you need all of these things in order to be really successful at it. We'll talk about these two some more. Here's one of the very first things, rugcheck.xyz. It's so important to use this. On every single pool, you will see it for both coins. You just click the little button there and you get the rug check. You click on that and it'll take you out there to give you some ideas. So things you may be looking for that are bad. The token is mintable or it's frozen, extremely low liquidity, high ownership by only a few wallets. That's a very big indicator that it's going to rug. A copycat token, that's very bad. And now, not necessarily everything out there is bad, but a lot of these things like this are serious warning signs. High ownership, single ownership, 55%. That's really not good. Top 10 holders, high ownership. That means that they're looking to rug you. Mutable metadata. These things can be really bad. Or like this, freeze authority. You won't be able to sell that token. You'll get rugged. So go out there and look for rug check. Not everything is necessarily bad, but you should definitely be using this on anything. And next is bubble maps. It's also linked in every single pool on every token, and it'll show you how a token is distributed amongst many wallets. This is an example, and this is an example of something that looks pretty good. Each one of these little bubbles represents a wallet, and the size of the bubble is how much of the token that wallet particularly owns. And then you'll see some that are grouped together, and these are wallets that maybe it's a cluster that are grouped together. Now, a little bit like this, that's okay. That can be totally normal. And we're even looking at the distribution here. If you're seeing something where a lot of these are the same percentage, that could indicate a bundle. And that is kind of like a rug indicator. But this one looks pretty good. This top one looks like the pool, 4.48%, so that's not bad. That one looks okay. And then next, here's one that this is danger, Will Robinson. This one wallet is holding 57% of all of this token, and it's not the pool. It's not like the pool that it migrated to. Sometimes you might say this is Radium or wherever the token migrated to. That might be okay, but in this case, is not. That's that person. If they dumped all of that token on you at once, you could totally get wrecked. So you don't want that. And then this is like, stay far away from this. This is two massive clusters here. These wallets, they're all connected. It's all basically the same person. It's all bundled together, and this is a great way to delete money, is to try and LP stuff like that. So
I just add to that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So in case you weren't aware, bundling is the practice that some people use to launch a meme coin and obfuscate their high ownership of the token and make it look like many people are holding the token, but actually it's one person or a couple of people controlling lots of wallets. And so these clusters represent potential links between wallets that indicate that there's a likelihood that they're controlled by the same person. And that's usually assessed by the way that these wallets were funded or how they received the token. And you'll see not just in bubble maps, there's a lot of other trading platforms will have some way of assessing each token. Now, most tokens launch with a bundle. So being familiar with, and it just comes with experience, being familiar with what percentages are okay and which ones are scary. Obviously, like the more controlled by one person, the more damage they could do very quickly to your position. So it is always worth checking this before you ape. Just know like there's a constant arms race where people are developing more complicated ways to hide, and then the tools are developing more complicated ways of identifying it. So just always act with the assumption that someone's trying to extract as much money from this token as possible.
Yep, thank you. And something else that you want to watch out for is wash trading. So that's volume generated by bots. It's kind of like fake volume. They're sitting there doing a bunch of trading back and forth. And the idea is that they're making a token look more popular than it really is, that it's active. And it may be going through they may be targeting a very specific pool, and only a tiny percent of actual real trades may go through your pool. It's frequently used on new coins, but it can happen on older ones. Sometimes the idea here is that they'll generate this fake volume to get people to buy into it. And then once they get enough people to buy into it, they will rug. So you can see on here like this very steady, even volume, and like even like right here, like it looks like the bot crashed for a bit and then they restarted it. So it's just very unnatural, and use that with caution. I mean, I've seen people LP wash traded tokens. They'll take the risk and go for it, to generate fees, but it's not always going to get you some money. And this again, they could just rug you. So watch out for wash trading on the chart.
Yeah, and they're definitely you're playing with fire there. And the way that wash trading normally works is they pay a bot to recycle their funds, mimicking buys and sells until a certain market cap, and then they might start extracting where they will sell more than they buy, but it will look like there's just a lot of volume. So it doesn't drop dramatically, but it's not coming back up, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so some LP opportunity finding tools. I'm going to start out on our LP Army Discord. There are some bot channels available to you. And these are the DLMM ops, the multi-day ops, and the Metlex terminal. The DLMM ops bot, it's going to show you like the top 10, and you can tell it to show you like non-Jupiter strict list. You can tell it to show you what's on the strict list, but it's going to show you a lot of indicators, the top ones. And this is not just the token, but this is an actual specific pool. You can see your legend here. This is the 80 bin step and 2% fee pool on this Fart Boy Soul. It's telling you, is the volume trend going up or down, the TVL, the fully diluted value, all these things. So this may give you an idea of what's going on. And also they've just added a little rug check here. So this is just saying, okay, the most common things that we're looking for, it looks okay. The little green check mark, there's been rug check. Again, as always, we would still recommend that you do your own due diligence on any token, just to make sure that it's still good. But this is one, but you can click directly on that and it'll take you straight to that pool. Then we have the multi-day ops. So multi-days, a lot of, when you're doing meme coins, a lot of them, they are here today, gone tomorrow. Some rug within an hour or less. Some just run for a few hours and then they're done. But then you have tokens that may last that go longer, that, you know, they don't just die. Maybe it's part of a project or, you know, something like that, that it's just not, it's not dead. So this may be an opportunity for something that you can sleep on or go longer. And if you're first starting out in LPing, this may be the way to go, is something more well established and not hitting the, you know, the really fast, crazy die in minutes meme coins that you want to hit. You want to hit something that's not necessarily going to rug you so fast. And, you know, we're looking here at a lot of those same things, but it's telling you like over time, 6-hour price change, you know, what's going on with these tokens. So this is just another place to look for opportunities. And then we have the Metlex terminal. And so anytime a new pool is created, this bot fires off and gives that information. So a new DLMM pool was found. It gives the link directly to the pool, and a little bit of information, of course, links to like GMGN, 8 Pro, Jupiter, RugCheck, Bubble Maps. If there's a Twitter, it tells you whether it's a Jupiter verified token or not, if the frees are met. And this is RugCheck information. And like here's one that the RugCheck didn't show up so good. It gives you some of the really warnings that you want to look for here. So, and again, do your own checks, but this is just like, if I saw this, I would probably just pass on that immediately. And there is the help command that you can use within the Discord for these bots. It'll help give you some more information on these things. And again, within the LP Army Discord, we have actual LP call channels. And to get notified of these, go to the role selection channel to add the DGen role to be tagged when one of these when a new token is called by one of our alpha callers. And you'll see that in that first channel here, DGen calls. You'll see they'll post something and it's a link to a discussion, right? And it creates a new thread down here. You'll see these threads, and once you actually interact with them, they'll show up in your list there. These are ones that maybe just one of somebody who's really good at this said, hey, this token is really running, or it has been running, it's been doing really well, but you know, just because it's there doesn't necessarily mean, you know, whenever you see it, it may not be good right now. Still do your own checks and diligence, go into the chat, discuss with others, hey, does this look good or does it look good, or what have you. Same multi-day degens, you know, it's again just like that bot. People are talking about, hey, this has been running really well for me for the last 3 days or a week or whatever. Or you can talk strategy about how to play some of those long-term tokens. And the DGN-DLMM is a very popular channel. People are talking about things. People are posting CAs in there about, hey, look at this token. You know, and just because someone posted something doesn't mean that it's the runner. Look at it, investigate, you know, see if it has potential. Don't ape into everything that you see, but this is a great place to also just like talk about strategies, and so forth. So it's a really great place to be. Another community tool that we're going to talk about is Metlex.io. It's made by one of our LP Army leads, Alex. It is linked in every single pool, and I'm actually going to do a little demo of that right now. Let's just pull this up. Let's see here. There we go. And I'll zoom in. So Metlex.io There's a lot of things that we can choose from here. And we're going to start with the DLMM 100. So this is the top 100 pools at any given moment. You have a bunch of filters here, like fee greater than 5%, 2%, 1%, and you can sort by the fees over the last 24 hours down to 30 minutes. You can also filter out pools that, a minimum liquidity or a max liquidity, so if you only want to see pools that say have at least $5,000 worth of liquidity, you can filter that out. And then, so it's going to give you all of the list, right? And these are individual pools you will see on there. It's going to illustrate, this is the bin step, this is the base fee, today's fees or the last 24-hour fees, the amount of TVL in this pool, and how much volume in the last 24 hours. So I'm looking at this, I'm seeing $2.8 million in volume in the last 24 hours on 684,000 of TVL. That's good. If you have way more volume than you have TVL, that's awesome. It's generating. If in the reverse, it's not so good. Or if it's even, it's just kind of meh. Like here, this Annie Soul, there's $1.1 million of TVL in this pool, but $1.7 million. So it's maybe not quite as active. Maybe it's a little bit slower than some other pools. Just look here at this baby grok. You've got linked directly to GMGN, Jupiter Pro, 8 Pro for this token, and then the other one is the other token, which in this case is Sol. You'll see the market cap. We'll talk more about that in a bit. And then here you just see, like in green, these on transactions, that's buys. This is sells. You can see the price change. So this kind of give you a little bit of an idea if it's going up or down. And then just some more volume. If you're looking at this and you're like, man, that looks good, let's go into that one, just click the LFG button and it'll just take you straight to that pool. And you can just rock and roll from there. So anyway, this is a great tool that you can use to just find existing stuff out there. Now I'm going to show you the magical button. I love magical. And here you can define minimum bin step. It defaults to 20, max 20. I'm going to say minimum bin step of, let's just keep it at, I'm going to set it to 80. And the max bin step, I'll set to 250. I'll set the minimum base fee. I'll just leave it as it is. And over here on the end, you'll see only strict. There's a checkbox for all rugs. That's Alex's way of saying, if you uncheck that, only show me Jupiter verified tokens. If you say show me all rugs, that means show me everything, whether it's on the Jupiter strict list or not. Okay, so now you can sort by volume to TVL ratio, and you can define the size of the box that you want to show on the page. You can go really big, or you can go 400 pixels. I'm just going to do that to show you more page at a time. It does take a little bit longer to load because it's actually loading the charts for these, which is super cool. Just waiting for it to happen. So again, here we'll see this pool pump USDC, the amount of fees, the TVL, the amount of volume, and this little chart provided by GMGN with even some technical analysis indicator here, the RSI. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But you can, check to see how something's looking, do all these things. And again, if you like the looks of something, you can just go ahead and click the LFG. It'll take you straight to it. So you can use like this one. Here's these. It looks like it's trending down right now. This exact one is wash traded pretty hard, but funny enough, it's been around for I don't know, a couple weeks now. They turn the bot on
Yeah,
and
it's
off.
still going.
Yeah, it's still going. Valentine, yeah. So anyway, you're just look at this one. You can see there's a massive dump on that one, and there's opportunity there. But maybe if I saw a token just dropping, it's like, oh, I'm gonna pass on that one right now. And sometimes you'll get a feel for the market even with this. Now, okay, so here he asked the question with the bin step range, why did you pick 80 to 250? Random, but I was also looking for maybe more degen type. Now, if I'm looking for probably a little bit safer plays, maybe I'm going to go with the 20 bin step and 100, and I'm going to say, show me this. Okay. Now, there are people who do 20 bin step on fresh memes. That takes a lot of skill to not get wrecked on. So don't recommend unless you really know what you're doing. Now here's Sol USDC is, and there's a lot of up and down on that one. But this, it just gives you a different look on that. I'm just doing demo to show these. Yeah, so let's see. Are these more for spreading across larger bins than concentrated? So yeah, all right, okay, Chief's got you. All right. So anyway, this is magical. I really love this because then I can get a good look at the chart without actually having to open it separately. I like this tool. I'm not going to show you everything there is on Metlex or go into it. You can paste a CA to look at all the pools for a specific token or token pairs across all dexes. So that's going to show you what it looks like on Meteora and Radium and Orca and things like that, just to see, is this pool, is the Meteora pool better or worse than some of the others? How is it performing? We're not going to go into that because we don't have all day, but I'm going to show you the Metlex trenches. And this was really cool, and it's pulling these scores that you see on here that's pulled from Jupiter, but it's the top 500 pairs. We'll click here to show filters, so you have a lot of choices to do. You can search for a specific pair, but I'm just going to click on the top one right here so I can see, and this is a specific pool, not just the pair. So you see 100 bin step, 2% fee, how much liquidity is in there, and how many fees are earned in the last 30 minutes. Of course, you can change these things, but anyway, I lost it. Change my filter here. Here we go. Okay. So we get into here, and this is good. First of all, it's showing me anything like with the rug check that if something is risky, it's going to pop it up right here. But this token, it looks okay. It's got a lot of growth metrics information, volume analysis over these time periods. It'll show you how much fees have been generated over these time periods, rate analysis, and of course the chart itself. Now take a second to load, but there's the chart. Use Control and scroll to get a better look at that. So you can see, okay, what's happening with that. I'm going to keep scrolling down here. You'll more information, pool overview, and of course, this is really cool, the LP performance. So this is kind of, it's giving you an idea of what it thinks, is this a good opportunity or not? And here, this particular one, the fee over TVL ratio is exceptional. The estimated APY is exceptional. And Metlex is saying this is a premium opportunity, exceptional fee generation. I'll just look at another one here. Pump USDC, it's giving some warnings here, and here it's telling you this is a potential opportunity. Consider the risk reward with this low of an APR. Let me see if I can find one that's less awesome. Mutable metadata here on this DEGE. This one, all this red, everything is looking not so good, but somehow it's still a premium opportunity because of the APR. This is actually a wash traded token, so that's one that I would watch out.
Launchcoin would be.
What's that?
Launchcoin, I think, would be a cool one to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show all of these things, you know, potential things that you would look at. But let's go.
I'd say this about the LP performance is it changes on a dime really quickly.
Yeah, it does.
And so, yeah, you as an if you're going to LP these high earning exceptional pools, you've got to understand like they're like that because things are moving very quickly and people rotate very quickly between different ones. And you can get stuck in them if you try to make a long-term pool like position. So bear that in mind. Even though they're exceptional opportunities, like fee generation wise, sometimes that can be because there's a lot of dumping happening, and the volume is only one direction, which would be very difficult to profit from.
Yeah, for real. Launchcoin didn't even show up in that list. Well, that looks.
Yeah, and this is just an example of a really big coin with very low fee. Like it's not a fantastic earning pool. So on a pair like this, I would try to accumulate a token and then hold it and try and sell it at a higher price rather than relying on the fees for the profit.
Yeah, this one, it doesn't even show up in the trenches, so it's not even the top 500 as far as, you know, generating. But anyway, that is Metlex. So you really could spend probably a lot more time on that. It's a really great tool. So moving on. Now we talk about, you know, reading charts. Now, the more established a token is, the more relevant technical analysis is. The newer a token is, the less analysis you can really get into it, but you can still kind of get an idea of, like, is this looking up or down? Is this looking good? There's a lot of factors that go into that. You know, what you want to select for your range. You need to understand volume and market cap. Market cap is very, very important indicator of, you know, what's going to happen on a token price impact. Okay, so if something is, say, under $500,000 in market cap or way less, a one sole buy or sell is going to have a much greater impact on that price than something like this, whatever this token was, AOIOS, with a $21 million market cap. One sold buy or sell is a drop in the bucket. So it's not going to make that big of a deal. And the point behind that is that really low market cap, while that can produce a lot of volatility and therefore a lot of dynamic fees and therefore a lot of fee generation, it doesn't take much for that token to drop in value very quickly off of a few sells, which could cause you, to go way down and you end up losing. So look at that market cap and kind of decide. Like sometimes I'm like, if this thing is not at least 1 or 2 million market cap, I'm not going to touch it, right? I don't have the time to watch it. Or this is 5 million or 10 million market cap. Okay, I can put some money in there and I can not watch it so closely. So there's a lot of things that you need to consider when doing these things. I really could talk all day about it. So useful technical analysis indicators, there's a million and you kind of pick and figure out what you want, but here's a few that we find useful that are not too hard to understand. The MACD indicator, and we'll demo all of these here in a bit, but it's showing you the trend signals. The MACD line, the blue line, crossing the signal line kind of tells you the trend. So if the blue line goes above the orange line, then, it's pumping. If it crosses below, then, okay, now it's in a downtrend. And you even see here the red and the green lines. This is showing you an indicator of what's happening here. So the higher the peak or the lower, like this is a greater pump and this is a greater dump than say over here, right? And even the colors or the hue, like the darker green is a higher, it's more buying, is more pumping. And whenever it lightens, that's the buys are kind of slowing down. And so you'll see here this reversed. It was a heavy sell-off, and then the selling kind of started to fade, and it reversed just for a tiny bit and back down. So this is kind of like, again, it will show you now what this looks like. Again, depends on, are you looking at the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart, the 1 hour chart, the 30-second chart? It'll be different each one, but it just shows you whether something is weakening or strengthening over time. The RSI indicator, this one is very simple. You've got the 70 and the 30 and the 50 line here. When a token goes above the 70 line, generally speaking, it's an indicator that a token may be overbought and that it may be time for that token to start turning around, that people may be selling off and taking profit. When it dips below the 30 line, it can be an indicator that the token is oversold. So it may be time that it has a bit of a reversal. Now, that's not always the case, but it is kind of like an indicator that you can look for, see what's happening, just kind of like the strength of what's happening with the token. Okay. Now, candles on the chart. Hick Ashy candles, while that's not really a TA on the chart, it's changing your candles, but it's really cool. It kind of gives a little bit more clarity on what's happening. So on top here, you'll see standard candles. Everybody's seen them, the wicks up and down and all of these things, and that's great. But the Hick Ashy here, it trims off some of those wicks to be a better indicator, because you see here these two charts are very similar, but you notice this one, you're not really seeing too much of the bottom wicks, and it's just kind of telling you this token is going up. All right. And same with like over here, you don't see so many of the wicks on the down. It's like that is a serious downtrend. So it's telling you, is there more up and down on this, or is it really pumping, or is it really dumping? It's just kind of giving you a little bit more clear picture with that. So it's like whether or not you have a strong downtrend or a reversal happening. And then the volume profile visible range, or the VPVR. So this is really cool. I like this because it's showing you the volume of where it's happening. So the bigger this is, the more volume in that range that's happening. So the yellows are sells and the blues are buys. So maybe whenever you're looking to set a range, you might want to be, hey, all the volume action is happening right here. I don't really want to set down here where there's less volume, or up here where there's less volume. I want to capture all the volume, so I'll just set my range right in here and capture that. It's a really cool tool. I like it, and we will show more of it. I don't know, Chief, if you did you have anything you wanted to comment on at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are really giving you the visibility you need in order to place your positions, and to decide how you want to enter the token. For example, the Hekinashi could show you it's trending up, so maybe it's not the great time to open a two-sided position. Maybe you want to open just a single-sided position, expecting it to dip back down in the near future. And then with the volume profile, it tends that the price tends to return to areas with high volume, and so, you know, if you were planning to open a position that was going to be open for a longer period of time, you might do, in this case, I would do like a single-sided sol position, probably a bid ask from the current price, which is around 734, down all the way below 161. And it would just mean that if it did dip down, that I know that a lot of my liquidity will be in an area where in the past there's been a lot of trading activity, which is basically telling me that that's the price level that buyers think this is attractive, and so they start buying again. And you can see that there's two nodes on this particular chart, one near the current price and then another one down near 161. And you can expect that if the price dips below this upper node, so around the 6.5 area, it might drop very suddenly down to the other node. And this is called like a liquidity gap. And so sometimes you can just keep these things in mind if you're trying to set something. Follow the volume. That's I would say you're less interested in the price and you're more interested in the volume, where the volume is, where it happens, and how much of it is happening right now or the last 5 minutes, 1 hour. These are all very, very key things for a liquidity provider to be aware of. So this is giving you the visibility you need when it comes to identifying where to put your range.
Yeah, and I think a mistake that a lot of people make is, they'll hear a call, they'll see something, and they want to immediately jump in. And sometimes you need to wait. It's just like, well, right now we need to wait. Maybe this is too much of a pump, or maybe this is too much of a dump. This is not the right spot on the chart. The volume was all right here. This is where we need it. So sometimes it's best to just look at it, be patient, wait for the right entry.
Yeah, you always have to think, even if you're going single-sided with just Solana, or if you're buying both the token and putting in Solana, it doesn't matter which version you use. At some point, someone has to buy the token from you. And you need to acquire that token at a price that, I mean, you don't want to acquire at the highest price because it makes the odds of someone buying it off you in the liquidity pool is much lower, right? So the cheaper you can acquire the token and the more expensive you can sell it, the better. Yeah, there can be fake volume for sure. We call the volume bots, and really there's only one way to tell, which is you get experience looking at charts and understanding what looks organic and what looks inorganic. This would be very inorganic. It's very the odds of a token worth X number of millions with thousands of token holders suddenly doing zero volume for like a whole minute is almost zero, you know. So that's probably a good indicator. And or just like the chart is very uniform and doesn't have any sort of randomness in it, or the volume per 5 minutes or per 1 minute or whatever you're looking at is super uniform as well. That's another indicator of very inorganic volume. Then there's other things that you'll perceive, like for example, are people talking about it on X? Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give a demo of that here.
Yeah.
So zoom in a little bit. This is not wash traded. It's just kind of like the volume. You can see it. It's kind of like all over the place, up and down, right? Now I'm gonna go into one that I know for a fact is wash traded. And really, you see the wash trading. You can see it right here. This, you can tell the volume bots are on, and you can also see it down here in the activity. It takes some practice to look at it, but they turn this bot on and off actually on this token. But this is a very much wash traded token, yet people are still buying this one and going into it. It's got a 24 million market cap. This one seems to be kind of the exception to the rule. But this one, like here, this Pingu, this has got a $2.3 billion market cap. And while we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and show like some of these TA indicators that we were talking about earlier. The RSI. So we can see right here, you see everywhere where it went above the 70, and then you had this massive reversal, but then it dipped below the 30 line, and then it came back up. So, you know, it's sitting in here in a range, and every now and then you get the big pump, but then it, you know, reverses. So this is just kind of showing you what's happening over time. But as a long-term position, I may be looking at this and going, you know what? You know, even if the price has dipped down right here, historically, this token, it's going through its up and down. So this may be a nice long-term position. Maybe there's not a ton of volume on this one, and that it's all going to depend on what you're after. I mean, volume definitely is king, but this one is probably a much safer bet than, say, Deej or some other thing. But you'll see here massive amounts of volume happening right here. So this is probably where I would want my range, is right in here for that one. And let's see, let me turn on the,
If you go a higher time frame, you get a bit more.
yeah, sure, I'll turn that on. Do I not have? No, I do have that one on. I guess I had them all on there. Okay.
Yeah, you got them all.
Well, it just looking weird now. I done screwed it up. Okay. So that's the 1 minute chart. And what in the hell?
No, it's because it's a relatively, no, do the 1 hour or something like that. Yeah, 5 minutes should be good. You zoom out a bit.
Okay. So there you go. The 1 hour chart. So you can see you've got a lot of, in the last hour, a lot of volume happening right here. And so this is probably a good place to set a range. And you also see like what it did. It was overbought and then it reversed. But this one, it seems also looking at this, the trend here, we're not getting a ton of big pumps or big dumps. So this one is saying to me, I might look at this and say, I might be pretty safe setting myself a nice little range. Let me pull up the right tool here. Wrong one. I might set myself up a little range right there. 15% from the top down. This might be a good place to make some money. So yeah.
You could play it a little safer, going a little bit lower on the down end, on the downside, in case
Yeah, you
there's
could.
a bit of an overselling. It tends to be a little bit more volume, and it's just a bit more safety from impermanent loss. But you're going to sacrifice your fee efficiency.
Right. You will be spreading out your liquidity more there. If you went down like say 36% on that, you would catch anything if it went way back down. But you know, that's going to be one of those things where you have to decide for yourself, you know, do I want
That's
to
the game.
stick tight, or do I want to try and do you know, long term, do I want to hedge against this, whatever. So how it performs is going to depend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say it's like a balancing act. Like the tighter you go, the more fees you make, but the higher the chance of you going out of range and therefore impermanent loss. So can you
Right.
make enough fees in that time to profit? The wider you go, the less likely you're going to suffer impermanent loss, but you're not going to generate much fees because less of your liquidity is in the range where the trading is mostly happening. And basically, it's all about figuring out everything in between the two.
So here, question: when do you want to use a bid ask or spot like in a degen play? Would you appreciate if you could share what's the end goal for the strategy? Well, let me get through these and see if that doesn't answer the question for you. So these are advanced strategies here. Now, like this one right here, a one-sided spot plus bid ask, and compounding fees. So this one we opened up a one-sided sol only. We added a layer of spot because maybe we think that this token may range. This particular token pair is like Sol IO, so that's not a fast-moving coin. So I want to still get some fee generation even whenever it's in the valley, but I don't want to buy the token. As it dips and comes back and forth, I'm going to be earning those fees. Well, maybe I don't want to keep that, or maybe if it pumps, I will still want to earn some fees here. Or maybe I want to sell all of it, hopefully. So I compound that, just those fees, and I put them in a bid ask right here. So you know, I bought them lower and I want to sell them higher, right? So that's what I'm doing here by compounding it this way. And then kind of similar here is what Geek Lad would call the toothpaste tube, a spot and bid ask. So a layer of spot on both tokens. And as you're claiming fees, you add just the other token back into the position into a bid ask. So like as the price is rising, it's like you're squeezing out the fees from like a tube of toothpaste, if you will. So it's like you've got that layer of spot. I've earned some fees in the other token, and I put it in here as a bid ask to get all that, right? So again, similar to trading, you're buying low and you're selling high. Now this one's classic, and we're going to show you even more on it here in a bit. But the bid ask flip, it's very simple, but it's very powerful. I know people who make serious money doing the bid ask flip. Keck-Lebec, the Met Turk Dow, bought a brand new car doing the bid ask flip. Very simple. One-sided, SOL only, or USDC, it doesn't matter. SOL only, bid ask only, you set it. And again, you may be wanting, you know what, I think maybe this token is going to dump soon and I want to go really wide with it to catch all of that on the way down. So it's that you're not buying that token at all to start. When that token has gone down sufficiently enough, or maybe it's down at the bottom of your range, you simply withdraw and then put it back into the position into a bid ask going the other way. So again, you've bought the token at a lower price, and now you're going to put it in and you're going to sell it at a higher price. Of course, it depends on the token pumping, but you know, it totally can work. Now you can close that position and recreate a new one at a higher point if you want. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but this is it in its most simplest form. Meteora does not have stop loss in these. They don't have a stop loss function. There may be third-party tools that do that, but we're not teaching that here in this. We don't cover those types of tools, and we don't use those types of tools in it for graduation. It's a good feature, but it currently doesn't have it. We don't show that. So the bid ask chill. This is kind of a long term. Maybe more established tokens or stables. You're just setting a really wide range and using bid ask only of both tokens. It's not going to earn a whole lot down here in the valley, but you're hoping for wide swings here. And again, buying low, selling high. A lot of people will have to just do this, set it and walk away. And the advantage of this is just you aren't having to flip the bid ask flip. You're not having to do that. So it's kind of like a chill. Yeah, DCA in and DCA out. So yeah. Okay. And this is just fun. I'm showing you this because showing you just how flexible the DLMM can be. This is my quote unquote art that I've had. Some of it is based off of ideas like this one, cowboy hat. I also call it the curve ask. I had curved the token because I wanted to maximize fee generation right here, but I also wanted to utilize the power of the bid ask out here. So I did this. I don't recommend you use this as a regular strategy. This was mostly heavy metal fucking around and finding out. But anyway, just the point of this is that you could do all kinds of crazy things with your liquidity if you want to. So now here, this is classic Chief actually made this slide a very long time ago, talking again about the bid-ask flip. And you put this in, very simple. Do this when price dumping. Do this when price pumping. I love it. It's so simple, but it works. So we're gonna look here, and I can explain it, or Chief, I can let you explain it. I mean, you actually
Yeah,
did
sure.
if you want.
So you arrive at this coin, you can see there's a clear range between 3032 and 3020. And it's sort of oscillating up and down between it. So one thing you can do is set up a one-sided Sol only bid ask. So only Solana is being put in, and you're putting it in a bid ask shape, which means the lower the price goes, the closer to 2.0 it goes, the more token it will acquire. And so you're essentially buying more at a low price. Then once it gets to the low end, you can withdraw that liquidity, which is now all the token, which in this case is Billy. And then you're not closing the position, you're just withdrawing the liquidity from the position. So the range is still the same. It still covers 326 to 20. Now you can redeposit the liquidity, but now it's all Billy in the opposite bid ask shape. So now you'll be selling Billy, more Billy the higher the price goes. And so as the price returns to the top, and every time it oscillates as it's going up and down before it gets to the top, you're still earning fees while also selling more of what you bought at a cheap price at a higher price. So this is something that comes with you're not going to earn much fees at the top of the range when you first open, and at the bottom of the range when you flip it. You're going to earn the most fees at the thick part of the bid ask, but you're also going to benefit a lot from price appreciation from the tokens that you bought cheap and sold high. But the downside of this is if you withdraw the liquidity, flip it, and redeposit, but the price doesn't go up, then you're making it harder for you to be in profit, because a small rebound isn't going to sell a lot of your original Sol.
Yeah.
So it does come with more risk. But you can do many different things. For example, you can put, say you wanted to LP with 10 Sol, you could put like a 3 Sol bid ask on the left-hand side, and then underneath that range, you could do a 7 Sol bid ask as like as a backup in case things go wrong. It might be that your 7 Sol bid ask is never going to get used, but at least if things don't go right, you have a good buffer that's going to probably out-earn the losses from the original one. So remember that the more narrow you go, the more difficult it becomes to achieve this, because your stuff goes out of range pretty quickly. But the most, I think probably the most powerful thing about the DLMM is the ability to withdraw and deposit both assets or a single asset and reshape liquidity as dynamically as the price is moving. You can do a lot of really cool stuff.
And remember, even if you don't have like, just casually put 7 Sol in a down bid ask, it doesn't have to be that much. It could be less.
Well, in this situation, it was really 3 Sol that was going in the area that I actually thought. The rest was like the backup,
Right. Or whatever amount works for you in your portfolio.
Yeah. I was just doing it for round numbers, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Lockie, I don't know what slide you were looking to see. Did you see what you wanted to see?
Yeah, I think he did. He said thank you.
All right, cool. All right, so now we're going to talk about what to do when you're in permanent loss. Basically, what I really mean here is when you're out of range, you have several options. One, you can just wait. You can have patience. If you think that token price will rise back into your range soon, don't do anything. Don't be tempted. Just leave it alone. And just wait. As Chief just talked about, you can open a one-sided bid ask at a lower price range, hoping to capture enough fees to offset your losses. And like here's a visual representation here. I've got like 4 positions here that they're all down. It's out of range, and oh noes. Well, I opened up another, just a bid ask lower to try and earn some more fees to recoup some of those losses. Does it always work? No. But it can work in certain things. And here, I like this, Alex, don't panic, bro, trust the process. So yeah. The other one is, if you don't think that token is going to come back, take the loss and reposition. So if you think you can capture enough in a new range lower to recover your losses, you can do that. Just remember, you're accepting is like, okay, I'm accepting that I'm going to lose a little bit of money here, but I'm going to take this token, go down lower, put it where the price action is happening. And if there's enough volume, I can get enough fees to overcome those losses and turn it back to either break even or profit. Depending on what's happening on a token, sometimes I'm like, okay, I just want to get back my money, or I may turn it actually into profit. I have totally done this. And usually whenever I'm doing it, I'm going lower. I'm going in a tight range, especially if the token kind of has lost all of its big pumps and big dumps, just like it's going to stay down there in a tight range. I'll do that and just earn a mess of fees to get my money back. And then, of course, you can just quit before it gets even worse. Withdraw and sell before the price goes even lower. And, this is a crapshoot, because sometimes you're looking at this and, okay, I'm down 50%. You have to ask yourself, would I rather be down 50% or would I rather be down 95%? If a token, especially if it's a brand new one and it's just a quick pump and dump rug that thing is probably never going to come back, then it's better to get out with a smaller loss than a bigger loss. Of course, and I can't tell you how many times that I've thought, and Chief too, I know for a fact that we thought, okay, now this thing is done, it's gone. I'm gonna while you can. You sold, and then 5 minutes later, the damn thing pumped, and you're like, okay, son of a bitch.
Can I just say something about this? I think there are 2 important things I think about with this. One is it's a game of outlasting. Like, can you outlast other people? If you're doing a bid ask, you want to outlast everyone else, let them sell into you, and then you're still there once they've given up so that the price comes back up. Or the other pitfall I used to find myself fall into was having a kind of scarcity mindset, thinking that this is the trade that has to go well, that this is the thing that's going to make or break me. But having done this for well over a year, like, there are always other opportunities and they come rapidly. So if you think you screwed up, cut the loss, move on, go to the next one. Don't think about it too much. Like, it's you only have 2 choices. One is you diamond hand or you cut it quick. If you kind of linger between the 2, that's when the most damage, I think, gets done.
Yep. And just as a reminder, withdrawing liquidity when you have impermanent loss or divergent loss, you're making those losses permanent. So sometimes it's better to take that loss earlier than later. But there's always a way to, like Chief said, sometimes it's just, okay, take that, shake it off, move on. but sometimes there's other ways to recover from that and do that. So this really kind of takes some experience. And if you remember, we talked about in the very beginning, test and learn, figure out what works and what doesn't. You kind of have to experience this for yourself. So, um,
Yeah,
okay.
most people who LP have a pretty high win rate overall, in the 60s, you know. So if you're if you're getting hung up on one loss, then just trust that the DLM is super effective. It's like a real edge on most of the rest of the market. So the next one can be good, you know.
Right. And this is a good one from the Alex. Catch the dump with the bid ask, rebalance, and get the pump, and then you're in Valhalla. Thank you for joining us here today, Alex. All right, so what to do with earned fees? Several choices. You can claim the fees and compound them back into the position. It's just like the one token that you didn't want to keep, like this one here, Ron, whatever that is. I don't want that. I don't want to be a community member for that forever. So whenever I'm claiming this, I'm just putting just that token back in. Another option that you have is you can just open a new position at a higher price range than your current position, with just that token you want to sell. So in the hopes that the token pumps and sells at a higher price, usually, oh my God, usually using like a bid ask is the way to do it. The other thing that you could do is sell that token you don't want to keep immediately, locking in profits. This is one that I find myself doing quite a bit, especially if it's like a new token that I don't trust it. I don't know what it's going to do. It might rug. So, I get some money, um, and I will claim those fees and I will sell that token right now, and I'm locking in that profit. If I hold on to it and it just dumps way down, well, that profit is diminished. So I'll do that sometimes. Another choice is simply just hang on to all of it. Hang on to all of those fees and just wait. And, it's kind of like your moon bag, if you will. You think maybe you'll close a position and maybe that token will pump later and you sell it later at a higher price. You can totally do that, of course. Good luck. But that's kind of just really what to do with that. Chief, is there anything else you would say you would do with this?
Yeah, I mean it depends on how bullish you are on the token that you're accumulating. If you really, or also how much volatility are you expecting in the near future? Because you might be bullish on the token, but it's going to dip quite hard soon. So you might want to sell all your fees and then reinvest all of that as SOL in a bid ask and compound that way.
Yeah.
And you can also deposit the fees, for example, in the image you have on the screen at the moment.
Right.
You got a bit of a bid ask on both directions, but say you claimed your fees, you could deposit the fee with curve in order, basically ensuring you sell the majority of the fees earlier and de-risking it, but keeping some of it tailing off into the higher range in case it does keep going all the way up there. So how you deposit it is also other ways of managing the risk of those fees turning into dust, basically.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes what I have done is say I have a SOL only bid ask and I'll leave a little bit of room in the front of it. And I'm just tossing it in up here into a bid ask or even at a curve just to get turn the few bucks into a little bit more. And one thing that I would say, and this works for me, what works for someone else may be different. But one of the rules that I have for myself when I'm LPing is, with the exception of like really long term stable SOL USDC, whatever, I'm talking like new memes. I go in, I make my money, I withdraw, and that's it. I'm out and I don't go back. And the reason why I do that is because for me, more times than not, I'm like, man, that was great. I'm going to go back for more. And it's kind of like getting greedy. I would go back in for more. And more often than not, I would lose, not just on that position, but lose any profits that I made on the previous one. Because some things just don't last that long. They're going to dump to zero and whatever. So for me, that's my strategy in general, is get in, get out, don't look back. No matter what else somebody else is earning on that, I get in, I get out, and I secure my profits. So what I'm doing there is, maybe sometimes I'm leaving a little bit of money on the table, but I'm securing a win and not securing losses. If I can stack a lot of smaller wins and not so much on the losses, that's better than, big win, big loss, big loss, big loss, big win, big loss. In the end, you may not be quite as successful. So you have to figure that out for your own, what works for you. But that's just the way that I roll with that. Okay, so let's
Can I
do
just
some
add
practice.
something to that?
Say
I just
that.
wanted to say that. Can I just add to that as well?
Go,
Just to
please.
say that if you're LPing something that just launched, like within the first half hour, then you have to factor that there's a bunch of volume mercenaries that have turned up too, just like you, that are there. They don't care anything about the token or the long-term future. And this pattern plays out over and over again. So, you want to lock in your wins while they're there, and then maybe buy back later. And yeah, the thing that one of the Batman from the community said, it's better to cry in green than in red, right? So
Yeah, 100%. It is definitely better to cry in green than in red. So let's go into something right here. And we'll just kind of like start with the top. I'm going to go to a different wallet here. This is one that we had picked earlier, Baby Grok. Just looking at some of the things, and it may not be all that great, but right now, 5 minutes is up to what?
There's actually two, and they're PvPing with each other. You see, one's got a space and one doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
One on the left and the one on the far right.
Yeah, there are two different ones. Interesting. Okay. Well,
this one's more active right now. There's 24 buys and 4 sells in the last 5 minutes versus 2 to 0 on the other one.
Yeah. Okay. So let me grab the CA on this. Because we encourage people to rug check, I want to see what it looks like.
We're still looking at the Metlex screen on your chef screen.
No, we are. Okay. I just changed the way.
Yeah, I would just be careful with Baby Grok staying too long, because there's two, and so if it comes out that one is the correct one or whatever, then the other will dump really fast.
Well, this one here, it's talking about mutable metadata. And then this is, let's see, that's the one with the space, yeah. And that was this one here. And then the one without the space. is the one that we just rug checked.
Gamble.
So I'm just going to go right here and hit rug check directly from the pool. Okay, so 2 tokens called Baby Grok. One has a space in it, the other one doesn't. Now, while this one may have more action right now, it does have a warning on it. This one passes that. We can look at the bubble maps. See what's going on with that. Let's see. What's this one?
Yeah, you can see one's definitely younger than the other. So one's got only
Yeah.
got 10K, the other's got 75K TVL. One's done 2.5 million of volume, the other's done 80.
Oh, and this is something else about GMGN that's like really cool. It's got built-in bubble maps right here. It doesn't say it, but it's there, little bubble symbol, and it's going to pop that up. And so we can see here, it's not really a whole lot of clusters. We've got one here holding 3.97% and another one only 0.64. So that all looks pretty okay. The rest is just the other wallets spread out. And then we have this one here. I don't see any clusters at all. Some of this, well, it didn't look too bad, I don't think. You got some of these numbers that are very similar to each other, holding like 22, 22, 22, 22, 22. These may actually be bundled. They bought, like they have the exact same amount or very close to it. So this may be kind of like they haven't interacted with each other, but it may be bundled there. That's the one with the space in it. So anyway, we don't have to do this one. We can do a different one. Let's take a look at, let's see, this one is dumping. I don't think I want that one.
Well, happy Sunday.
What's that?
Rudy is okay. This looks okay.
Yeah, this one is looking all right. So I'm going to actually go into this one right here. I'm gonna launch this one.
Yeah, well, it's pretty typical of a Sunday that stuff just dumps.
Yeah, weekends can be rough. Sometimes the best move is not to play. Hey, nice, dude. Profit is profit. $3 is $3. And it's like looking at profit maxi, not max profit maxi. Yes. So anyway, we got Rudy, and even though this one's I already know it's okay, I'm just gonna, do the usual checks here. Open rug check. I'm gonna do the bubble maps. So here, rug check says it's okay. There's a lot of information here. I'm not going to go into all that for the sake of time. We'll let bubble maps load here. There is kind of a, well, it's not that big. It's only 1.33% of these tied together. But the distribution looks pretty good to me. So now I'm going to go and look at the chart. And like I mentioned before, you have a lot of different choices here with charting tools. Let me actually zoom in here. You've got a lot of different choices here. I like GMGN because it's got a lot of things that others don't, or that it gives to you for free. I used to use Dex tools, but I had to pay had to buy their token to get like some extra features, and this does it all in one for free. So excuse me, for example, we're looking over here at the top. Let me just zoom in a little bit. 4 little checks here. The token can't still be minted. It's not on a blacklist. The initial liquidity 100% burnt. So that's, it's locked. And then top 10 owners only own 13%. So that's okay. If they owned like, over 20%, that would be very concerning. Showing insiders fishing, these things are not too high. Bundlers only 5.2%. Blue chip, that's talking about holders of this token that also hold blue chip tokens, which kind of like to me says this is somebody who's a little bit more legit holder. That's 2.3%. We're looking at the market cap. This is a $7 million market cap, which, like, okay, this is not a here today rug in 5 minute token. So this one, I like this market cap. Here's much liquidity and how much volume has been passing through in the last 24 hours. So it's basically 7 millions over a 7 million market cap. So while it's not flying, it's not dead either. You have other things here, the audit, that's just demonstrating this here. You can buy and sell directly on GMGN if you connect your wallet. I still stick with Jupiter. But down here or over here, you have these things that are indicating like the price change in the last 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, and 24 hours. So here I've got the 1 minute selected. So you can see it's down 0.48%. This is how much volume has happened in the last 1 minute. And then we'll see the number of buys and sells in that time. And then it'll come up with the net buy, and that'll refresh here in just a second. But I'm gonna look at the 5 minute one. So here the net buy is negative 6K. Some people will use this as an indicator to see what it's trending to do. The closer it is to zero, like, or the further away from zero in the red, that's kind of like it's dumping. It just kind of can help you see the trend there. I usually don't pay too much attention in the 24 hour. I'm usually looking at the here and now with the 1 minute, 5 minute, what's going on with that. Again, a lot of information here on this page. We cannot possibly cover everything. You have, let me actually connect this. No, wrong thing. Extension wallet. Okay. So you've got markers on here that you can see. And this has got to do with buys and sells. And you can see this is quite the mess here. But you may want to see on here, like, show me what the dev did, right? So you can see anytime that the dev bought or sold this token, you see right there, dev sold, right? And if you're logged into GMGN, it'll mark anytime you bought or sold the token right there on the chart, which that may be helpful. Like if you went two-sided into a position and you bought, maybe you don't remember at what price you bought, this will show you. So say, where did I enter at? That'll tell you. So again, if you want to just say, show me devs, show me what KOLs and VCs are doing, and maybe whales. Okay, maybe not whales. Or the snipers, right? It'll show you that information right there. Move down. Anyway, it's showing you that those buys and sells. Coming down here under activity, you can see, yeah, there we go, reset activity. You can filter, you can show me all, or if you just want to look at what the bundlers are doing. And there's little indicators on each of the wallets that'll tell you whether it's a phishing wallet, whether it's a bot. There's a lot of different things there. I like to look at the insiders. This one says there are no insiders. The top 72 wallets, what they happen to be doing. Because sometimes these are the guys who are holding most of the token. Are they buying? Are they selling? Are there any whales? Are they participating? What are they doing? And that's like a wallet that's been marked as a whale historically. You could see what the dev did. Their last activity here was 23 hours ago. Again, also, are the KOLs and VCs doing anything? What's going on with that? Is Molu selling a token? What have you? You'll be able to see your positions, holders. That's also another indicator. If you had something that was a high market cap, but it had a small amount of holders, that could be a danger signal, in my opinion. And you can also see liquidity adds and sells, like for the Meteora, what people are doing here. So anyway, we have only a short amount of time, and I see this token it just decided to dump here. But I'm going to, since Chief's here, Chief, if you were going to enter, would you enter here?
Can you zoom out a bit, 5 minute? It's a great example of like, yes, I think I would. I would do single-sided sol. How long are we planning to run this for? Like a short position or?
Well, this one is Rudy. It's been around for a long time. You could go a while on this one. Let's say I wanted to sleep on this token.
Okay, let's see if you want to sleep. Actually, I need you to zoom out more then. I need more.
Do you want to look at a 5 minute chart?
Yeah, the 5 minute.
Let me turn off some of these markers.
So it looks like we kind of bottom out already, and it's starting to trend sideways, basically, from the initial volatility. So I just basically do a single-sided sol position. I would do it from the current price down to not that far down. That's a bit too far. A bit higher. The next node, yeah, like there, 65% or something like that.
65%.
Yeah.
About there.
Yeah, around there. We call it the bid-ask flip, Lucky. And yeah, I'd say I do around there. This gives me a lot of room for, like we've seen it historically that the token has been bought when it gets a bit lower, around the 60% below where we are now. But also I'm expecting this to trend a bit. So I probably do a mix of spot and bid-ask.
There you go. Yeah, that would be for me on a multi-day. Like,
I bet, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the bid-ask, yes, but if I think something is going to sit in a range for a while and just move back and forth within that range, I like to use spot because, like I said, whenever you're at the valley of a bid-ask, you're really not generating that much. So the spot is more useful for the fee generation whenever it's going sideways, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably do like something like 66% of it spot, 33% as bid-ask, just to ensure I've got some protection for in case it dips really hard. Like my permanent loss won't be too bad.
Okay, so let's
So
actually
people are
do that.
asking, like, you can layer your position.
So actually
with
what I'll do
multiple
here is I'm actually not going to do that. So I'm just going to put in 0.3, and in order to go down to 65%, I would have to do 2 positions.
Oh, yeah, what bin step was this for?
100.
Oh, okay.
It may not be the best one for this one. Let's actually go and look at that. I'm going to go and hit on this to look at all of them. Okay.
200 should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, what's great about the 200 in that 100, in order to go down 63%, I had to create 2
Make
positions.
multiple, yeah.
But here I can do it all in 1 position. All right. So if I wanted to do that much, there we go. 56. I've got my money. I was doing a little bit of spot. And then I'm almost out of money here. So it's maybe not the percentage that you had said, Chief, but
That's fine. Just as long as the sum of it is.
this is my
Yeah, so
do demo and
majority
get red.
spot.
Huh?
Yeah. This is majority spot, so, like sub-majority bid ask, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Majority spot, some bid ask. This is my do demo with and get wrecked wallet.
Yeah.
But
we've
there
had-
you go. As you can see, it's not a fast earner, but it's probably a little bit safer earning. And we've got about 18 minutes left, so we need to switch and make sure that we get the rest of the content covered.
I'll answer this question that's come up in the chat. When you are in a coin that's running, what sort of strategy works best? Personally, I prefer never to buy the token, especially if it's running, because it's more likely that I'll buy the top. So what I usually do is go single-sided sol, but I only fill half the position with sol, leaving another half empty, which allows me to earn fees on every little dip as it climbs up. So as people take profits, it dips down, and then people buy, and it shoots back up out of range. So I find that's a great way to earn some fees. And then if you think you've caught it quite early and you think it's going to run a lot more, I might do a more aggressive strategy like a curve, but still single-sided sol. So as it dips, it earns even more, and then it comes back up again. And in these cases, I'm constantly, if it keeps climbing up, I'll withdraw the liquidity, redeposit it again in a curve or a spot, and follow it all the way up until it looks like the buying is starting to exhaust. And when it starts looking tired, I'll withdraw, close, and then put a bid ask down to try and capture the fall.
Okay. All right. So I got a few more things to cover, and we're running out of time, so we're going to move on. Dynamic pools, or the DAM V2, right? We've seen a lot of incredible wins come through with the DAM V2, small amounts of liquidity and big wins, but you should know that it doesn't always happen that way. And there's other uses for the DAM V2 in addition to this. When you're doing memes with the DAM V2, though, the name of the game is you got to be quick. It's got to be fast. You got to catch it early sometimes. You may be trying to capture that sniper volume or MEV volume. Now, if it's going on for longer, you're not catching any of that sniper volume. You're just hoping for MEVs, and that's the sandwich attack. So whenever you see on the chart the big, thin red or green wicks candle, those are MEVs, sandwich attacks. I don't have time to explain all of that, but that's where they're getting massive fees from. You can follow these guys on X. There's plenty of other guys that have strategies, and we did an advanced boot camp for the damn V2. Just look out there on lparmy.com boot camps to get more info on that. Go out there and get that. Lots of different strategies here, but these are what these guys are doing. They're looking out here on Jute Pro. Top traded 5-minute time and the percentage change. This is what Potato's doing. Sets Monks uses Axiom. There's a lot of different things, but there's a whole DGen damn channel out there, and I'm going to show you the damn V2 here and just give you a quick overview of what it looks like and what it can do and its differences with versus damn V1. I'm actually going to show you a stable one, the USDT USDC one. And while the DAM is an AMM, which generally means it's spread out from 0 to infinity, they do have a way to set an actual range within that. Now, you aren't able to define the shape of your liquidity or anything, but they've set this one to an actual price range of this right here, the 0.098 to 1.02, and it's telling you what its current pool price is, the distributed liquidity, just like the other one, it'll tell you how much. 24-hour volume, 24-hour fee. You'll notice that it does not show yield. So tokens that are deposited into the DAM V2 do not lend to the lending vaults to earn yield. There can be a dynamic fee on these. Not all of them are configured to have that. That's one of the options, to have it or not. Of course, there is the liquidity provider fee and the protocol fee. The other cool thing about the DAM V2 is the fee collection token. You can either have it, and it's all how the pool is configured. You can either get both the base and the quote token, or only the quote token. So like if it's Sol and some meme, you'll get fees only in Sol, and that's super cool. Because if it's a token you don't want to hold, you don't really want a bunch of the other one. I just want Sol. This is cool. The other thing about the DAM V1 is that it is not automatically compounding your fees into your position. It's keeping them separate like the DAM does, and so you can claim at any time. Unlike the DAM V1, we can't just put in the one token and let it balance for me. You have to put in both of the tokens, so you have to buy to be able to do that. That is the that's how one of those looks. Now let me just go out here to show you some of the others in these. Let's just pick this one and see if it's showing me. Okay, so yeah, here's an example of one. You're only getting the quote token in that. There is a dynamic fee, but there isn't any. This is not the one I want to find. I want to find one with a linear or exponential. Somebody tell me in chat which one to find. Priceless. This one might be it. Okay. So this is what I wanted to show you here. On some pools, it can be set up with a fee scheduler. And there's two different types here, a linear, and then the other is exponential. So this one actually started out at 50% was the fee, really high. And over time, that fee rate reduced down. Right now, it's sitting right here at about 7%. So what that is whenever something is a brand new token, the idea here is that those snipers are going to pay big time fees. And that's how some of those really big fee numbers that you see off of low liquidity work. They'll happen. An exponential one is kind of more like a curve that dips down like this. So it drops down even faster. So there's just two different types with this, and that's how it works. Again, we don't really have a ton of time to go deep into the damn V2, but if you want to learn more about the damn V2, I recommend that you try hang out in the damn channel on Discord and check out the advanced boot camp that we did on that. It's out there on lbarmy.com/bootcamp. So let me stop that and go back to the presentation here. Okay, so another community tool, and this is not the only one. There are many more out there kind of telling you how to gauge how you're doing, right? And lp4fun.vercel.app. It's a cool tool that'll tell you like your position status, how you're doing. Are you up? Are you down? You can look at all your open positions, and it just kind of tells you how you're performing. It's going to tell you what your ROI or return on investment is. One thing that you need to remember is that it's going to calculate either in SOL, or you can choose like the other token in the pair to calculate. It's not going to calculate in USDC by default like Metlex does. So just keep that in mind whenever you're using this. It's kind of self-explanatory, so we're not really going to demo it because we only have a few minutes left. But it is a cool tool, and there's plenty others out there to choose from to discover. But here we go. We got to talk about the graduation task. This is the cool part. Make sure you scan that right now because we don't share these forms on Discord. We want you to go through the course. This is the task. You need to open one and only one new DLMM position. And what I mean by that is you can't graduate using two positions. You can't submit two positions. One position. You need to open that anytime between July 20th and the 27th. If you opened it on the 19th or before, we're going to reject that. We're not going to grade it. So anytime, 20th, 21st, 22nd, open that new position on that date. When you open the position, it needs to have a minimum value of at least $100 of the assets. And that could be any combination. It could be one-sided, so just SOL or just USDC or whatever, or just whatever meme coin, or you can go two-sided and use both. It doesn't matter, but the total value of everything needs to be at least $100. Now, that being said, let's say that you were choosing to do a mixed strategy of spot and bid ask. You put in, say, $50 worth of spot, and then you put in, within a minute or so, $50 worth of bid ask. That's okay. So long as you get it within that first couple minutes, we're going to be fine. If it's several minutes beyond that, you're like, oh, I forgot to add more money after that. I'm, half an hour, 15 minutes later, I'm not going to count that. So again, just make sure they give you the minimum value. We don't allow stable pairs. This probably wouldn't work on a stable pair anyway, but Sol and a liquid staking token, such as, Jupe Sol, those aren't going to count, but you probably wouldn't graduate on one of those anyway because they're very slow. You need to LP this position for at least 1 hour. If you only do it for 5 minutes, it's not going to work. So you need to spend at least an hour with that position open. You must close the position before you submit. And you must show at least 5% profit, not 5% fees generated. So if you open a position and it's worth $100 and it dropped down to worth $90, but you earned $5 in fees, you didn't earn $5 profit, you lost. That thing, you would need to have 100 plus 5. So 5% profit, not just the fees. We don't allow third-party tools. We don't have a problem with these programs, like in principle, like HawkFi, MedEngine, copy trading, whatever. Those third-party DLM managers, many of them are supported, but we do not use them for Bootcamp. We want to make sure that you understand how to do this on your own. So you need to raw dog the DLM, like we've been showing you all this time. And again, you must complete both days of this bootcamp in order to graduate. So hopefully that I've made that quite clear, and I've given you guys plenty of time to scan the code there. Got to move on. And okay, so showing you really quick, you need to know how to get the transaction ID or the signature of your positions. Okay, so you go out to solscan.io and you enter your wallet in the search box, and then you're going to go down to the DeFi activities tab. Here you can see everywhere that you've ever added liquidity, removed liquidity, done a token swap. You need to find the transaction for what you LP'd, and please be careful, make sure this is correct. Right here you'll see is a copy button for the signature that's also known as a transaction ID. You click that and you copy. That's what you're going to paste into the graduation form, and all the information that you need is in the graduation form. All the instructions, all the criteria, it's all in there. So yes, thank you, Alex. Focus. All right. Now, if you want to calculate your P&L and generate one of those really super cool P&L cards that you'll see out on Metlex, what you would do is you would take that transaction signature and actually put that into Metlex.io. And actually, let me demo that just for fun because people ask that. So let me pull this up here. Let me get my wallet. Bear with me for a second, guys. Okay, share. Okay, so in entered wallet address, come here to DeFi activities. I can see where I've done this one. Here's one that I did earlier that I closed a position. So I'm copying the signature here. I'm going to go to the wonderful Metlex.io. When you open Metlex, it's going to default to the P&L tab by default. You just drop that transaction here, and then you click the rocket. Now, again, guys, and please pay attention, please do not put a Metlex link into your graduation form. The grader will not grade a Metlex link, and I will not manually grade it. I will reject it. I want the signature that you got from SoulScan. So make sure that you're doing that correctly. I'm just showing you how to create a P&L card. So Metlex.io is going to show you the pair everywhere you deposited liquidity, how much you did anytime you claimed fees or withdrew. In the end, it will show you your profit and loss percentage, the total amount that you deposited, total amount of fees, and how much you withdrew. And this is how much profit that you made off of that position. It'll show you how long you've been in the position and all of this thing. Now we have a cool little Bootcamp checker right here. So this is just telling you, okay, no third party detected. The initial deposit, yes, we're good. P&L is good. Total time's good. Cool, cool, cool. You can recopy that right here to put in there, or you come down on and get your nice little P&L card. Of course, you're not submitting that for Bootcamp, but this is just so you can show off, show your friends, show off in the DGen chat, show your mom, all these cool things. That's your P&L card. You can download it, copy it. You can remove information that maybe you don't want to share on here. You can get it to show the percentage. You can use the traditional one that's out there. There's a lot of different options that you can choose from here. The other thing that you can do is, see, where is it? Oh, fees. So if you put your wallet address here and the pool address, then you'll be able to see, generate a different card. I don't have time to show it. We've gone over, but it'll show you just the fees generated basically on that. So that's that. We are at the end here. Sure. Okay, so we're out of time for questions on this. Okay, all right, let me answer this one. I understand, but this start today. If we didn't have the barcode later in the day, how are we gonna confirm the next step later? I'm not sure what you mean, but we'll get into, I'll start up the bootcamp stage in the LP Army Discord shortly after this. After we end here, we can answer your questions in there. Yeah, please show your mom so she can be proud. But Mojo, we'll answer your question. I'll start up the bootcamp stage right after this. So that's kind of it. Chief, thank you so much for joining me today and helping me out. And of course, Alex, as always, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, and I'm sorry we ran over, but again, we'll be in the chat to answer other questions for you guys. We're going to end the stream today. Thank you so much. Rock on, and good luck to everybody.